Welcome to the Great News Podcast, where we are interviewing people who are making great news by making big, positive differences globally. They are here to inspire you with what is possible and empower you to help contribute to world peace and to the changes you want to see in the world.
Hello, I'm Rico Cavella, creator of the Ageless Living Lifestyle. If you are concerned about premature aging and you want to avoid disease and old age, and you want to live a more healthy, energetic, and vital long life, I have proven solutions for you. So number one, go to agelessliving.lifestyle.com and take our aging quiz to see how well you are doing. And number two, book your free coaching session with me to discuss your wellness challenges, and I promise to get you going on the right track. You can transform your health and your life, and I can help. Hello, this is Rico Cavella, and this is your Great News Podcast, where we interview people that are making a great news, making a positive difference in the world. But in this episode, it's just myself. And so the title of this episode is How to Be Fearless. Now, I think this is such an important topic. As you know, there's so much fear going on these days. And so I think we all need to learn how to be much more fearless. And as you may know, our main podcast that we've done over 210 episodes is called Fearless Aging. So, of course, that means not to fear aging and to realize that aging can be very positive, and it's what we're here to do. And so, if you haven't listened to any of our episodes on fearless aging, I highly recommend you go there wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can go to agelessliving.lifestyle.com/podcast, and you can check out all of our fearless aging, where we've interviewed amazing experts all around the world in wellness and self-care and aging and anti-aging and longevity, and you'll get some really great information on how you can live fearlessly. Now, the thing about fear is there's really only two main emotions. There's fear and there's love when it all comes down to it. So anytime that you're in fear, fear is having any kind of negative thoughts, any kind of anxiety or worry. And you know what the definition of worry is? A good definition of worry, anyway, is visualizing what you don't want to happen. And it's commonly known that the majority of things that we worry about or fear never materialize. So we're just wasting our energy and bringing our vibration down and not being unhappy by being in fear. So anytime you're complaining or you're angry or you're jealous or you're being selfish or you're just so concerned about yourself, that's being in fear. On the other hand, we can also be in love. We can choose to be in love. And love is all the positive things that we know. When you're feeling optimistic and positive and you're feeling kind and compassionate and respectful of others, and you're feeling peaceful and you're feeling joyful, that's when you're in love. And here's the thing. We have a choice at any moment of how we want to feel and what we want to think and what we want to say and how we want to act. So we can choose. We can either be in fear or we can be in love. So the whole key is to catch yourself whenever you're feel like you're being fearful, you're in fear, or you're anxiety, or you're worried, or you're complaining, or any of those things. Just say, hey, stop. Why am I doing this? I could better off to be in love. I could be focusing on what I really want and all the good things in my life instead of all the fearful things in your life. So it's really quite as simple as that. It's just shifting from being in fear into love. And again, it's just a choice. And of course, the definition of fear is just having a belief or an emotion that's caused by a belief that something's going to be dangerous or something bad's going to happen or I'm going to get some pain. And again, those are just the key word there is belief. So just no matter, so whatever we believe at any moment doesn't necessarily mean that's true. So again, we always have to examine our beliefs. And most of the time, we have all these limiting beliefs that are not true, and they've just been put in our mind by someone else, or some social issue, or whatever. But most of the time, again, most of our limiting beliefs never happen, and they're untrue as well. So now that's not to say that there's not some things to be concerned about. There's always going to be challenges in our life. But again, our challenges are good. Our challenges are how we grow, and we raise up our vibration and raise our consciousness and overcome things. And that's what makes life interesting and exciting, to have these challenges. But we shouldn't fear our challenges, because now again, I just want to make the point. Of course, there's some things that you have to be aware of that can be dangerous. You don't have to fear them, but you have to be aware that, of things that could be dangerous, or it could be painful. Like, you don't want to put your hand on a hot stove, and you don't want to be driving too fast in a rainstorm. You got to be aware of that, or you could really get yourself in some danger, so you could hurt yourself. So you have to be aware of things that can be dangerous, but you don't have to be living in fear. So the number one thing to learn how to live fearlessly is to have the faith, have the trust in your creator. I think the majority of people in the world believe that there's one creator that created the universe and that created us, and that in most scriptures it says that we're created in the likeness of the creator, and that means the spiritual likeness. So we actually are eternal spiritual beings, and we're just here with this physical body for a short time to have these physical experiences and to enjoy this amazing planet and to raise our consciousness and make a good contribution to help create a more peaceful and joyful world. That's what the Great News Podcast is all about. So we're not here to be fearful. We're here to be bold, and we're here to be joyful, and we're here to be in love. And I think that's the whole purpose of our life, is to learn how to love one another, and to love ourselves more, and to love our life, and learn how we can live in peace and create prosperity and a great standard of living for all people on this planet. So that's where it's at. So when you realize that you have God inside, and we are all powerful, so there's nothing really to fear. When this physical life is over, then we go back, we pass back on to being a spiritual being with the creator. That's all good. So there's nothing to really be worried about. We shouldn't even be worrying about dying. Of course, I understand that, we don't want to die because we think we're going to miss what we're doing here, or miss our family and friends and all that. And that's true to a point. But again, we have to accept how things are. That's how we have a certain time that we get to have these physical experiences, and then we go back to being spirit, where everything is perfect. So there's nothing really to fear is that. So that's the main thing, is just really trust in that you're here for a divine purpose, and everything's going to work out just fine. And you just have to, and once you believe that, then all fear will really dissipate. So, and here's the thing, really, when something that you fear, instead of trying to get away from it, or trying to put it out of your mind, that doesn't work. It just comes on bigger and comes after you. But if you just step up and face your fears, then you'll find that your fear dissipates and you can overcome it. And that's how you really advance yourself in this life and overcome those challenges and overcome those fearful moments. And so, again, we have to realize that fear is just coming, it's just in our mind. It's coming from our ego. It's always trying to protect ourselves, So, again, just got to catch yourself when you're having any kind of a fearful thoughts, and realize You don't need to be there. You can shift over to being in love, and you can step up and challenge your fear, and then you'll overcome it. And so I'd like to tell you, I have a good example in my life how I faced one of my major fears and I was able to overcome it. So when I was a small child, I stuttered really badly. And of course, you know how kids are, we always tease each other. And so I got teased a lot, because I stuttered. And, that's no fun. You get teased all the time. And I can remember being in class and the teacher would say, raise your hand if you know the answer to the question. And I almost always knew the answer to the questions, but I never raised my hand because I'm afraid I knew I was going to stutter and all the kids are going to laugh at me. So when you stutter, you become kind of introverted because you're not able to express yourself. But fortunately for me, I became extroverted physically, and I was fortunate that I was strong and I could play. I could play sports. I was athletics, so I did well in sports in school. So I got through school all right, no problem. Not being able to speak very well. But then in the year 2000, when I wrote my main book called Ageless Living, it's all about how to live a fearless life and to never be old. It's a complete mind, body, and spiritual wellness system that I developed. And so when I published my book, all the media and marketing people that I knew and advisors, they all said, well, Rico, this is your baby, your topic. You're the model for it. You got to get out and speak and get your message out to the world. Now, as you can imagine, someone who stutters, the last thing you think you're going to be is a public speaker. Now, as I got older, I didn't stutter nearly as badly as I did when I was young, but I still stuttered. I still didn't speak that great. So I totally resisted. I thought there's no way that I'm going to become a public speaker or go out and speak. And I'm sure you know too that public speaking is one of the top 3 things that people fear. The majority of people fear, it's almost up there with dying and I don't know what else, but public speaking is a big thing that people fear. So I thought, there's no way I'm going to be a public speaker. And then I realized, working with my fitness clients, my private fitness clients, I was always challenging them to do better and meet their challenges. And then I realized that I wasn't meeting my big challenge. So I was standing there and sweat was pouring down my face and my heart was pounding and my legs were quivering. I was standing in front of a group. I joined a public speaking class, and it was my first time to speak to the group. And so I was so nervous, but I just did the best I can. I know it wasn't very good, but all the people there, they clapped for me and they said, I was good, great information. And so I thought, well, maybe I could become a public speaker. And then I took another speaking class with this. He was an actor. And this is what really made the difference. This was really a changing point for me. Was he said, yes, how you speak and how you enunciate your words and how you move on the stage, your physical presence, and of course your content, those are all really important. But if you really want to connect with your audience, just speak from your heart, speak your truth. And that's how you'll connect with your audience. And I thought, yeah, that's right. I have a great message to help people. I can do that. So from there, I just took off and I just kept working on it and speaking whenever I could and took some more speaking courses and classes and just get up there and fix my fear and got into it and did a bunch of videos. And now I love to speak, even though I still don't consider myself a great speaker, but I can speak and I love to speak and I'd like to get my message out as much as I possibly can. And now with our Fearless Aging podcast, I've done over 210 interviews of top people, top wellness experts. I've created over 200 short video trainings. And I did a summit where I interviewed about 77 of the top wellness and self-care experts around the world. So I've done a lot of speaking now, and it's so much fun, actually. And it made me feel so good that I was able to overcome that. So the whole point of that story was, no matter what your big challenge is, you can overcome it if you face it. Just go up and say, okay, I'm going to do this. I can do this. And when you do it, you go, whoa, it just opened up your life to a whole new another level. So I'm so grateful that I was able to do that. So again, the whole point is here that we always have a choice. You don't have to be in fear. You don't have to have limiting beliefs. You don't have to hold yourself back. We're here to do great things and make great news. We all can do that. So as soon as most people realize that and get out of fear in whatever way that you're fearful of, and whatever in your life that's holding you back, then we can create a much more positive, joyful, prosperous world for all, everyone on this planet. And it can be amazing. So that's what the Great News Podcast is all about, is always making some great news. So I hope learning how to live fearless and get fear most out of your life is some great news, because you can do it, and it's not that hard. It just got to commit, step up, take responsibility for it, and you can do it. And again, I like to always let people realize we all want to be powerful, right? And we are so powerful. And the way to be powerful is just to take responsibility for everything in your life, and don't allow fear to hold you back. It's really about just spending more time in love, loving yourself more, loving your life more, loving others more, loving the Creator more. And I promise you, the more you love yourself, the better your life becomes. So you can do it. I know you can. You can live fearlessly. So I hope this was really been helpful for you. Live fearlessly. So if you like today's episode, please tell people about the Great News Podcast and the Fearless Aging Podcast, and give us a good review and subscribe to our channel. And again, spread the word about the Great News Podcast, because we can do it. With your help, we're going to create a much more wonderful world with lots of great news. Thanks so much for being here.